Generative syntax. Objectives: to define the meaning of generative syntax, to know three parts of generative syntax with its functions, and to view some examples of generative syntax. Before that, what is generative syntax? What do you mean by generative syntax? Generative syntax, also known as generative grammar, which is the set of language rule or the structure and interpretation of sentence to every native speakers of a language. In other definition, it means grammar is a system of rules that leads to the right combinations of words that grammatical sentence in a given language. These are the three topics that we are going to tackle today in relations of generative syntax, and these are prescriptive and descriptive rules, on constituency, constituent recursion. Now let us discuss definitions and some examples of prescriptive and descriptive rules. Prescriptive rules. It specifies how language and its grammar rules should be used. And descriptive rules is a study of a language, its structure, and its rules used in daily life by the speakers. Here are some examples of prescriptive rules. First, don't split infinitives. What is infinitives? Any verb that is preceded by the word to. As you can see in the example, she tried to slowly stop the car, which is grammatically correct, but in prescriptive rule it should be she tried slowly to stop the car. So to is preceded by the verb stop. Now let us move on to the next. Don't end sentences with prepositions. Example: what are you looking for? The word for is a preposition. This question is what we usually use when we ask someone for looking for something without noticing if it is grammatically correct in a law prescriptive. But the right word is for what are you looking? So that is the right question that we should apply. Now let us for the next, use I and me correctly. So by reading some examples, I will read: my family and I went to the beach. Me and my family went to the beach. Father loves my mom and me. Father loves me and my mom. So as you can see in the example, I put some check and some wrong because the sentence with a check is the correct sentence or the correct grammar that we should apply in using I and me correctly. Now let's move on for this descriptive rule, which has an evidence, the corpora or the positive, and the grammatically both positive and negative. So as you can see in the example, Josh drank a cup of coffee. Josh drank a cup of coffee and a cup of milk. So by this sentence, it can be asked for something like this: what did Josh drink? So Josh drank a cup of coffee. But you cannot ask the second sentence: what did Josh drink in a cup of a coffee and a cup of milk? So that is not grammatically that is grammatically incorrect. So for the next topic, let us move on to on constituency. So on constituency, it means sentences have an internal structure. So what do you mean by internal structure? It means that words form groups, and those group of words can be larger groups and that is called constituents. As you can see from the example, so it is formed in a tree diagram. So the sentence is, a jogger ran toward the end of the lane. So in the sentence, by deriving it into constituents, so it can be divided into two. The subject or the noun, and the second half is the verb. So a jogger is the noun or subject, and run toward the end of the lane is the verb. So by this constituents, it can the sentence is in a form of tree diagram, which each word has a meaning and has a phrase structure rules. So you can see, so every word has meaning. So the jogger run toward the end of the lane. So that's it. For the next topic, let us discuss constituent recursion. But this topic, let us focus on recursion in a constituent. Recursion, a constituent containing constituents of the same type. So, another meaning, the property of language that allows for the embedding of categories. So, embedding means can be fixed or can be attached. So, as you can see from the example, John regrets that Mary was not invited. Mary thinks that John was wrong. Now, those sentences can be fixed and can be attached into something like this. John regrets that Mary thinks that John was wrong. So that is an example of constituent recursion, which it allows for the embedding of categories or embedding of a sentence into a larger units. So a constituent containing a constituents of the same type. So that's all for today's video. Thank you.